Lights up bright, dope, Campbell Stadium is alive. Seminoles rise and fight to survive. Helmet gleam under that blazing sun. Florida State where champions run. Seminole sideline 365. Feel the roar, we're coming alive. Garnet and gold in the battle we thrive. This is our house where legends arrive. Turf torn up under Seminole feet. The war chant pounds to the heart's own beat. Chop through the noise like a storm in the sky. 2025, we reach for the high. Seminole sideline 365.
All right, welcome back to Seminole Sideline 365. It is 11 p.m. On the back of a 4-hour Florida State football game, and Florida State loses 38-46, and Charlottesville falls to UVA in double overtime. Big loss for Florida State, a game they shouldn't have lost. They couldn't afford to lose if they wanted, to fight for something bigger this season. It's not. They're not out of the ACC race, obviously, but it's a big loss early in the season, and a game they shouldn't have lost. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. This is a game they gave away. This is a game that they got out coached on the defensive end. This is a game they got out executed, especially on the defensive end. And the game that's going to be a playbook for Miami and Clemson and mid-average to average-plus teams in the ACC, and it should be frustrating for fans to watch. There's some good things you can pull out of this game, but there's a lot of bad things that we saw tonight, and you didn't see those bad things because we played garbage competition for the last 2 weeks, and you don't learn things from scrimmages. You saw a lot of things get exposed tonight. A lot of things, you saw some good things get exposed tonight as well. So it's not all negative, but when you lose as the number 8 team in the country, which, we saw tonight, Florida State is not the number 8 team in the country, especially defensively. Even when you give up 46 points, you're definitely not a top 10 team. But kudos to UVA. They played a hell of a game, especially offensively. Chandler Moore stepped up. Their running back stepped up. I think Tony Elliott called a hell of a game on the offensive end, and their new coordinator over there as well. They out executed. Their team came to play with energy, and I think they out hustled us on the defensive end too. Even though with the points they gave up, they made the stops when they needed to make the stops, and offensively they made the big plays when they needed to make the big plays, and we didn't make enough of them when it counted. So. Before we can go a little bit deeper into it, but I'll give you a couple minutes to talk on your initial feedback here.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I've got a lot of thoughts, a lot of emotions. I tend to be less emotional since we started these shows, just in analyzing. I don't know if you feel, I get more analytical than I do emotional. I think you said a couple things, and I said it in the pregame show about, okay, we went out and dominated Alabama. Now people are going to say, well, you caught them early, you caught them asleep. You wouldn't want to play them again, but that's football. Football is a one game. It's not a best of 7. People are going to question our dominance now, and I think they have a right to. I think FSU fans are going to question our dominance a little bit at this point because we got out dominated. And some fans who may or may not be on here tonight, who may or may watch this once it's recorded and it's out there, they don't like shows that sometimes, well, you guys are all negative. We hear that. We're not negative, okay? Yeah. We just watched the game that if if you're not a football fan and you just want to see a good football game, this was it. This is going to be a classic type football game that'll be out there. That it was back and forth, but from our perspective, from an FSU fan perspective, this was shit. Okay, this was shit. Now we're not going to dive into every blueprint because I have them all, and I cover things with a green pen that's good, and I cover things that are bad with a red pen. There are so many red lines on my notes. It's unbelievable. Okay, it's, and we're not going to pull them out. We'll do that next week, but Virginia deserved to win this game. If they didn't win this game, we would have snuck out of there with a win we didn't deserve, to be honest. Okay, I don't know if you agree with that. Or you don't just agree with that. This was just like, what the hell is going on? And our defense couldn't stop them. Basically, no. They could not get a stop, and we won't pull up the numbers tonight. I don't think we need to do that. We'll pull up the numbers and the stats. And I know we had over 200 yards rushing ourselves, but we really didn't have what I thought would be a better coordinated passing game to move the football and to help that play action. I thought our offensive line did not look that good tonight. I don't think the offensive line. You passed for 250 yards. You had 514 yards of offense. The offensive line wasn't the issue tonight. I thought that Castellanos was on the move a lot more. I thought his number for runs or the RPO, he's trying to do too much on that end. But our defense could not get off the field. And if you look at the second half, when they had those two long drives that ate up 14, 16 minutes and scored 2 touchdowns, incredible. We would have won this game if Jake Weinberg would have hit that field goal. When you go back and look, those 3 points were a big difference at the end of this game. And that was a lined up down the middle, and he went wide right. Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm a little disheartened. I think now, I don't know how I want to say they're going to get up for the Miami game coming up. But I don't know. Miami's going to exploit everything they saw. We could not handle the University of Virginia once again in their Coliseum. And all our players, coaches, Norvell had to go through that mad rush on the field, which must suck. And I'm waiting for the report that comes out that one of our players had to deck a student because they're arrogant as shit. Okay. Wait a minute. You're just and then somebody penalties will be given and so on and so on and so on. Okay, I'm not going to speak. That's stupid. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated. I think all FSU fans are going to feel this way. I don't know. How can anybody make excuses for this or the explanations except what I said in the pre-games, that you hadn't played anybody in a month. You had, even the guy on ESPN said you had controlled scrimmages. So we certainly learned that we're not a domination team at this point, and it could be interesting moving forward. It's going to be very interesting moving forward now, especially with Miami coming to town. How many turnovers did we have? We had 3 turnovers. We had some crucial penalties up front in this game in the first half that slowed drives down, right? Our rush defense didn't really hold up their rush game. I don't know how many rush yards they had. And they were also
200 plus rushing yards.
Their quarterback was also very effective in throwing the ball against us for the most.
This game's on the defense. The game's totally on the
when
defense.
he had to.
Game's totally on the defense.
I don't think we stretched the field that well. I know they were probably back there preventing that, but if they're preventing that, you should be able to get some middle passes.
Okay. The game plan.
I don't get it.
The offense did enough where you should have won this game. If the defense had any sort of pulse this entire game, you win the game. But they
couldn't get off the field.
Tony White couldn't figure out a way to get enough stops. Couldn't get off the field on third down. Couldn't stop 3rd and 18s. Couldn't find a way outside of generating turnovers randomly. When Chandler Morris was forced to throw the ball, you couldn't get him into enough forced passing situations. And when he was, in those sort of the main issue is that you weren't able to collapse the pocket enough on Chandler Morris. Once again, James Williams did nothing.
We gotta face
it. James Williams is ineffective on this football team right now. He is not generating sacks. He's not collapsing the edge. He's not containing the edge either. He's not really doing anything on this football team. And I think there needs to be something said about that. But we weren't able to get consistent pressure on Chandler Morris when he's sitting back in the pocket, and that's why he was just dumping passes over the middle, dumping passes to Cam Robinson in the middle when they were trying to get those 3rd and shorts, 3rd and longs.
Especially when their offensive line was supposed to be juggled and they didn't have their center in there.
Yeah. So
I don't understand how we don't dominate that on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He threw it to 8 different receivers, targeted 8 different receivers. 7 with a catch. It wasn't like one receiver destroyed us, but it was all these little catches. It was all these.
And we didn't wrap
plays.
up. We didn't tackle properly. I saw a lot of like scrums. Piles being pushed around.
But it wasn't gang tackling. They weren't gang tackling, and they would give them those piles, and they would go for 3, 4, 5 yards. And you didn't see the same kind of aggression I saw against Alabama.
No,
the first kind of couple of drives of the game, you saw what's his face, get a personal foul penalty. The star of the game against Alabama. I always forget his name, but he gets a personal foul penalty.
Little.
Earl Little. Gets a personal foul penalty.
And gets a lecture from Norvell.
He was ineffective all night. So the guy, Jabril Rawls was the guy that, if you're going to give anyone a hat tip on the night, he played his ass off.
Oh yeah, he did.
The night on defense.
He looked like an future NFL guy.
Yeah,
he really did. He's got
over the field. Yeah, he was all over the field. So I have to give a hat tip to him. Like you said, there are some good moments from this game. I'm not going to say it was.
And we'll figure them out. Yeah.
Rennie Pittman had a hell of a game. His catch to extend this game and get this. That catch in the end zone, bobble to it. Just keep looking for the ball. And his jump pass on the end zone on that third or fourth.
Yeah,
play.
He's a player. He's a player.
He's a difference maker, and he's a professional, and he does his job effectively well. Sawchuk and Chroma, they had good games. They played effectively. Sawchuk's fumble, obviously, can't happen. You can't, and that's how we said that's how you lose games like this. If you turn the ball over in positive territory of your own kind of goal line, in your own side of the 50-yard line. And Sawchuk, he knows he can't do that, and that cost us 7 points. And 2 turnovers turned into 14 points for them early on, and that puts you in that initial hole. And I think that is one of the big stories of this game, is that you had to come back from that adversity, which this offense did. They came back from that adversity. They came back from 14 down, tied it up. From another. They were down then another 7, tied up at 21. They always responded. And then they finally couldn't respond anymore. They finally, on the last drive in double overtime, couldn't. Well,
it was a juggled pass out of the end zone, and it was juggled. I know fans are going to start screaming and yelling.
He had a chance to make a clean catch, and he didn't make a clean catch.
He didn't make it all the way through the end zone. So,
but that's the thing. It shouldn't be bobbled. It was a perfect pass on his hands, and he bobbled it.
I don't disagree with the call. Do you?
In the NFL,
I can't disagree. I can't see enough to overrule it.
It's a finger, but they called it a catch on the field. So if you can't see enough to overrule it, it was called a touchdown.
Well, no, I meant to say, when I saw it slow down, it looked like it wasn't firmly grasped. I don't think it was a bad call. Either way, we didn't deserve to win this game. We
either
didn't
way,
deserve to win this game.
I don't deserving or not. Once again,
You-
guys
you-
have to make plays. Guys have to make plays in Florida State. Had the ability to make plays, and they didn't. You could look back at that play, Deuce Robinson's catch. He was in the right position, couldn't make the play. He made a lot of plays during the game, but he didn't make that play. When it was probably the easiest play he could have made all night. It was right on the money, right in his hands, and he bobbled it. It could have been Tommy. He made the tough throw to Rennie Pittman in the end zone. He got smacked in the mouth when he threw that pass, but he couldn't make the screen pass, right? That would have been a touchdown in overtime. They had to settle for the field goal. That screen pass, he couldn't connect. The running back had a wide open field in front of him, but he couldn't hit that easy throw, and then that leads to a field goal and leads into then double overtime. We couldn't put the pressure on UVA to have to score that touchdown in the first overtime. These little plays are what keep teams like this in the game when you can't steal this game away. You can't make that play. And you know, people will go back and watch this game. You'll see how many of these little plays that we left on the field, and great teams, they make those plays when you have to steal a game like this on the road. And you know, that's kind of what the 2023 team did. They either put teams away, or they made these plays late in games when they needed to. And it didn't happen tonight, right? Because we've said all along, this team hasn't faced all the adversity yet. And we didn't know how they responded. And they did respond in like we said, those early adversity moments. And the defense did to force it into overtime. Kudos to them. They were able to force this thing into overtime. They got the stop to give the ball back to the offense, but they couldn't answer all the calls. There's too much adversity. They forced themselves into too many tough situations, and finally it was too much. And UVA, they capped it off and they won it. Unfortunately, you stack the deck too much against you, and you put yourself too deep in the hole. You wear down and you lose.
Hey, let me address Mike. Mike's one of our loyal viewers here and listeners. Hey, Mike, we're not, again, this is our reality. This is our opinion of it. It doesn't make it right or wrong. We're not getting down on the team. Okay. I've been around this team since the late 60s. Okay. They did not play the way they were expected to play by the fans, by the country, okay, people around the country.
I expect them to win. I expect them to win.
Did we expect to give up this many points? I put my very first bet ever, because I don't bet. I put them on the Noles to win, to take the spread, and the Noles to win by more than 7.5. I don't care about the $20 I spent. I can't believe the result. I really can't believe it. But don't confuse anybody out there. Don't confuse anything we say that needs to be fixed as negativity when it is actually reality. Okay, that just has to get out there a little bit.
And I wouldn't be on a fucking stream right now if I didn't care about this damn team. I wouldn't have sat and watched a 4-hour football game if I didn't care about this team. And that's the thing. I wanted them to win with everything right now, and I'm disappointed that we didn't, because I thought, I thought we obviously I thought we would win this game, and we didn't, and that sucks. And we have to get better. We have to get better.
We have to get a lot better in 1 week,
and it gets a lot harder next week. And I do think we still have a chance to win. I think we have a chance to win every game on the schedule. We do, because we have the talent. But there has to be execution, and there has to be a game plan. And like I said to start this, I think Tony White got out coached tonight by Tony Elliott.
Did he get out coached, or did the players didn't perform? There's two things.
I think the game plan for UVA, their offensive game plan, was executed to. I think their game plan, their play calling, and their execution was above Tony White tonight. And I think they had the edge there. That's not to say Tony White's not a great coordinator, and that's not to say he's not going to change things, but they were able to match his game plan and excel against it. I don't, or the flip side is that our defensive line just isn't better than a mix mash of UVA offensive linemen, which
I didn't think I wasn't overly convinced that our offensive line was as good tonight as it was against Alabama. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
We ran for 255 yards.
I know, but I'm saying when Castellanos had to go back and sit in the pocket a little bit, it kind of collapsed a little bit faster than I thought it might.
I think if you go watch back, you'll see that he on a lot of those balls he had plenty of time back there. And now it's not perfect all the time, but I don't think he got. He got sacked twice tonight. I think they played, average above average for what they needed to do tonight. And UVA's defensive line wasn't supposed to be a bunch of scrubs. That we knew they were going to be okay, like a pretty good defensive line. But this isn't on the offensive line. Once again, they put up 38 points. You should win most games at 38 points. Let's be honest here. You should win with 38 points. This isn't on the offense. This isn't on Gus. I think Gus he called a pretty good game. Now the goal line pass outside when you're on the 2, I think we got to rethink that call.
I don't get why we have to make these tricky plays and wildcats and all this trickery. Why can't this football team? Why can't this football team ram it in through the tackles and get 2 yards? I don't get it.
Well, that's part of Gus. So if you don't like that, you're going to hate the rest of the season because that is part of Gus's thing. But I think the play call for a pass on this 2, when you were running it, you could have. I think that's why they went more to the wildcat formation to run it with those guys, and then that sets up the Randy Pittman pass because then they're sucked up and you throw it over their heads. I'm fine with that. But the getting under center or passing it to the side when you have a 5'9" quarterback who's gonna try, because we've now seen a number of balls get batted down.
Oh yeah, Tommy one got tipped into another guy and he intercepted it. That was one of the turnovers.
Well, that's what I'm talking about in the goal line, and that's where I'd rather not see Tommy on the 2 when especially in the first half where you're running it so effectively behind the tackles. I'd rather see more of that, either wildcat play or something where you keep it in the ball carrier's hands. So that would be my only criticism of really Gus tonight. But I think other than that, I thought he called a very good game.
He scored a lot of points, like you say. He scored
500
a lot
yards. 500 yards. I mean, I can't complain about that. And you take away some of the penalties that got this team in the 2nd and 20 or 3rd and 18, which you can't have too many times. You're behind the sticks, and that makes it tougher. But
when we get into it next week, when we really get into some details here, we're going to see some ugly numbers. And one of them is we couldn't get them off the field when they had 3rd downs. We could not get them off, okay? Or they were in a position 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, and they could go for it or whatever. But they had a very high 3rd down completion. 7 of 13. Okay. Pretty good. Not bad.
I mean, they were averaging 5.2 yards per gain and rushing attempts, 4.4 yards per rush attempt. I mean, they were able to run on 1st down and get 4 to 5 yards every time. So 2nd and short or 2nd and manageable, that opened up the playbook for them. I mean, you only were successful when you're able to stop the run early. And we said on the preview show, we weren't able to stop the run early. And that just threw the defense for a loop. The defense really couldn't establish themselves because without stopping that the rush, this defense really doesn't work well. Taylor for them was doing everything.
Oh man, he was a beast.
They gave it to him 27 times.
He's an FCS guy who's moved up and made a name for himself at the FBS level now. I mean, the guy was good. He was running over people.
And it wasn't like he had 200 yards, but he was effective, and he would get 4 yards consistently when they gave it to him.
Yeah.
And he did his thing, and then they would hand off to another guy. Brown had 60 yards on 9 carries. Like, they could give it to any guy, and it seemed like those guys would get.
Oh, they deserved to win the game. They played well enough. And they deserved to win the game, which they did in a double overtime. It's a tough pill. It's a tough pill for me, for you, for every fan that's listening out there. So what I'm going to do, why we continue to go over this a little bit, I'm going to open up our call line. Okay, we'll try to take a couple of callers if we got an intern who's going to help us with the text here. So be patient. But if you want to call in and give your opinion, just make sure it's on topic and you're an adult doing it. Okay. So we'll just open it up. We may get a call, we may not. Okay. So go on. What else do you take away from this game?
I don't know. I think something's going to have to – it'll be interesting how this defense holds up. I think the offense is going to be able to put up points. It's just this defense is – the line especially. If the line can't get pressure, contain, it's the whole rest of the behind it breaks down. Obviously, that some of that falls on the linebackers, stuff like that. I don't think the defensive backs play bad. I think, like we were talking about before – I think what's his name? I said his name before. Played really well. Jabril played really well tonight.
Rawls, he looked good. He
thought,
was aggressive. Yeah,
I thought Wilson had a couple of good plays. He got over aggressive on that one play, like they called out that sometimes he gets a little over aggressive on the ball, tries to predict it. But I thought he had a decent game. Shaheem was out there a lot tonight, so I'd be interested to see how he graded out. He got that big pass breakup on the overtime, the first overtime, I think it was, where some people say it could have been a call, pass interference, but he was out there a lot tonight, so I'm going to be interested to see how he grades out. But yeah, I mean, we're going to need to see a level of effort and a level of stopping power like we saw against Alabama, and we're going to need to see that again against Miami, because that's your next major test, and that's the level of effort, level of aggression, and the level of or little that we need to see again against Miami, because if not a better or the same level of quarterback play is coming, if not better, same veteran experience, same level of type of weapons. Mark Fletcher, those running backs are coming. So another offense that's capable of putting up 40 plus points if you let them is coming, and they're going and. They hate you more than UVA does. Let's say that. So Tony White
and their obnoxious fans are coming as well.
Exactly. So Tony White is going to have a long night tonight watching tape, starting probably tomorrow at midnight, and trying to figure out how we can generate pressure on the quarterback, how we can contain. And Carson's not a huge scrambler if I'm not
okay.
mistaken.
Got a call coming in. Let's take this call. Okay, caller, we got you on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, how you doing? This Corey from Tampa, Florida.
Go ahead, please. Say again.
This Corey from Tampa, Florida. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Is this Corey?
Yep, we got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corey. We got you. Go ahead, Corey.
Okay, man. I'm gonna tell you what cost us this game, man. The first half, first couple quarters, even on the first drive, everything was spot drop zone. Very soft zone, and when you have a team like this with a quarterback, all you want to do is sit back there and run mesh, sticks. You want to run a quick game. Mm-hmm. So the best thing for you to do is play press man and fire them up. Mm-hmm. If you can't get home with four, we couldn't get home with stunt twist. Yeah. So the best thing to do is press your corners. They don't have no serious burners that could just kill us over the top. You can either play 2-man and have them come down on the run. Too high, have them come down on the run. But you could play one high safety, press man across, and send 5 blitz. I don't get it. I didn't understand all the soft zone. He was eating it up, picking us apart.
Corey, who do you put that on? Do you put that on Tony White? Do you put it on the secondary coaches? Who do you put that on?
I put it on Tony White. Want to play all the zone. He want to look back at the quarterback. To try to create turnover. We had 3 picks and still lost the game. That's crazy. 3 picks and still lost the game.
Yes.
So apparently we're not getting pressure, making them get off the spot, even if you could get them off the spot. Not necessarily have sacks all the time. But, we couldn't get – the only time we got home was on the safety blitz that I saw when Barker came in.
Right.
He came down in the box and we had that safety blitz and he got home.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great point, Corey. Those are all great points.
And it's it's simple, man. It's so simple. All they want to do is run sticks, mesh, any space, and anything short. They want to throw it short. I think they took 1 deep shot the whole game.
Yeah, they didn't throw the ball long at all. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Corey,
I mean,
that's
sense, man. Get up in their face. If they win, if they beat you, okay. Change the safety to the strong side of your offense, or their offense.
Yeah.
So they were playing a lot of 11 personnel, and they were spreading us out.
Yeah.
Shade the safety over there to the strong side of the offense. If they're going 3-by-1, shade the safety over there to the 3 wide receivers. Play press man, and let's go. Let's go get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Corey. Hey, thanks
Corey.
a lot for the call, buddy. We appreciate you listening and you're making some good points. Thanks for calling in, Corey.
And
Yes,
I'm
sir.
thank you, Corey.
Bye-bye.
And I've seen similar stuff on Twitter too. Someone asked Bud Elliott, who I respect him as a writer.
Yeah, I respect Bud Elliott. Yeah.
Someone asked Bud Elliott, you think Tony White will change the scheme? Zone is getting those guys smoked out there, and the D-line is getting no pressure, just like Corey was saying. He goes, I don't think they can really play, man. So no, dance with our bring you. So he thinks,
we got another call coming in, KB. Let's take this call.
Call from.
Hello?
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, guys, it's Jalen.
Jalen. Hey, Jalen. Good to hear from you, buddy. So what'd you think of the game?
Well, personally, Bruce, I was at the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I expected us to win the game and everything. I could lost, but I can't complain too much. You know, two great offenses going at each other, back and forth, back and forth. We had our mistakes. You know, they caught up with us. You know, the interception in the end broke my heart. You know, but we got to take this one to the chin and say regroup for Miami.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you think? Let me ask you, Jalen. I mean, do you think we can regroup for Miami? How do you think this team is going to rebound during this week when Miami's had 2 weeks?
Well, I think one way you need to regroup is we need to fix our defense a little bit. You know, pass defense is kind of weak. You know, we couldn't really tackle. We struggle with tackling. You know, they can't rush on the ball underneath a lot. I mean, Morris did throw some picks, but we still can't stop the run. We just got to fix the whole defense, you know, make sure they try to throw underneath. You got to get there, make those tackles.
Yeah. How was your experience at the game?
Well, it was a great experience, you know, met some nice Florida State fans. You know, it was great. A lot of loyal. You got to keep the crowd warmed up. There's a lot of big plays are happening with dudes.
Yeah.
Thomas running the ball up and down.
Yeah, it was a hell of a game. I mean, it just from a football game standpoint, it was exciting as hell, you know.
I hope you didn't rush the field.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best games I've ever saw, whether in person or watching through TV.
How did our players get the hell off that field when those kids rushed it? Did you see how that all went down?
Yeah, I saw it. While I was leaving it after the interception, I took a peek at the field, and they rushed the field so bad because they were Virginia fans, with the students really, they were so anxious to get on that field. I saw them within the overtime, they were at the end zone.
Yeah, and TV, they showed that. They showed that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, well, listen, man. Jalen, you're always great, always welcome on the show. I hope you had a good time. Hope you get home safely. And thanks for the call, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
No, and no, I'm glad Jalen had a good time regardless. Because, regardless of, it sucks we lost, but it was a hell of a game to watch. If it's going to go into overtime, if you're going to lose, at least it was an offensive game.
I think it's just disappointing that.
No, it is disappointing.
I mean,
it's always disappointing to lose. And lose the way. When you come off a game like, and the Alabama game was so long ago, it feels like, and
it does.
But how we played that game defensively and it would be different if we had given up 30 points to Alabama and won that game. It would be different. But the way we physically manhandled them and played that, only giving up 17 points and only 50 yards rushing to this, like. Something went wrong. Like, what happened between now and then? But Corey's point is, I with the zone, I think he's right. Like, I think we may have over-respected Trell Harris and we are too afraid to get beat deep that we gave up too much underneath, right? I think there is a point to that playing zone. Chandler Morris was just eating that up when he needed to, right? All those short passes.
We said he was a highly efficient game manager, passer.
Yeah.
He's highly efficient with the ball, and he's also under pressure. He can make plays, and those came true.
Yeah.
All of that statistics, when you have a good sample, when you have enough sample, statistics start to tell a story of what players are and what teams are.
And when they eventually got pressure on him at times, he turned over the ball, but they weren't able to reliably build that pressure on him.
We couldn't get off the field.
We
couldn't get off the field.
We couldn't get off the field. We weren't able to get him under pressure, contain him, get blitzers on him to force him to throw it, or we weren't able to consistently stop the run to force him to have to throw in the pocket and then pressure him. We didn't run a complementary defense tonight. It wasn't always running consistently at the same time, right?
I have to ask myself, though, is it the schemes? Is it the players, or is it the players in the schemes? You know what I mean? This is not to say we've actually had 2 games. I'm not counting the cream puffs. We've had 2 games. We handled a very big national opponent, Alabama, and we dominated that game. That was game number 1. This was game number 2. This was an ACC conference game, so it does mean a hell of a lot more, actually. I mean, because now we can't stumble much more in the ACC. We'll see how this all plays out, but it was actually more valuable than the Alabama game.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I'll say about that is if we were getting either ate up on the zone, why didn't we switch eventually to man? And is that, like you said, because of personnel? Is that because you would have thought there would have been some shifting? And like I said, I'm not a football defensive coordinator expert, but like Corey brought up, you would have thought if we weren't able to generate pressure on the line, just with rushing 3 or 4, 3 and then 4, if we aren't able to generate consistent pressure, if the quarterback's eating us up, if we're getting gapped, why didn't we switch the man and then bring more in the box? It just didn't. I don't know. And maybe that will see a shift. We do, because we know Miami's offensive line is a lot better than UVA's.
Their defensive line is going to be better. They have better quality.
Ruben Bain's good, but he's the main weapon on there.
But you remember you and I talked about that in the pregame show about the man to man, and I was talking about that, and you said no, we should be able to handle that man to man. You asked me, do you think they have receivers? When I was going over Terrell Harris and those guys, and we didn't do that. We didn't really do a press man that much to really challenge them and get more pressure on the quarterback when we weren't getting it.
So yeah, I mean, I really don't have much to say. It's a disappointing loss.
I think a lot of fans, it's going to be a long week in the FSU media rooms, and I'm sure it'll be interesting to see what the coaches have to say in the pressers, what questions get asked, and what the responses are. I think when we have our next show, we'll be talking more in depth about some of the things, statistically. Tonight's not that night. It's more of a emotion and, more generalizations than stats. But some of the stats on defense are going to be interesting to look at.
They are.
I think that's where we're going to put our focus,
But I also want to positively, I do want to give game ball Deuce Robinson outside,
He had a big night.
He had a hell of a night. Yeah.
If he had made that last catch, that would have really. But that play is going to get remembered more than how many catches did he have for the night?
He had 9 catches for 147 yards and a touchdown. He had a hell of a night. He had a hell of a night. He kept us in the he was the offense. He wasn't the off, but he was the primary. He was the primary receiver. Like that's the other thing we need to decide who's the other guy outside of him when we play these big games, because. Squirrel White hasn't filled that role. Squirrel White did a good job on punt returns. Yeah,
he did a good job there. I thought there would be issues there. There really weren't any issues. But Squirrel White was supposed to be that other receiver who could spread the field some, and that hasn't really occurred. And I know he's been hurt. But it still has not occurred for whatever reason.
But we haven't found that second primary guy because
we're not using the tight ends beyond a few balls to Pittman, who had a good night. Andy Pittman had a good night.
Had 4 targets tonight.
But we don't really. The tight end doesn't really play in the pass game too much with Gus. It looks like, which is a little disappointing. But
Deuce had a great game. And people argue the last catch, but he had a chance to catch it clean. Didn't. We're not gonna, it's over now. So
it's over.
He's gonna be a major weapon for the rest of the year. So we need him to continue to step up like he did. But he's a major weapon. But we need someone else to help him out too. He's gonna get blanketed by the good teams. Of
course
he had a pure mismatch. I mean, they couldn't guard him. They could put the 6'4" guy on him. That guy couldn't guard him.
And he made some big catches.
He did. He made some huge
going down the stretch.
Yeah, he's a player.
And he almost made a very big.
I mean, he's
catch at the end.
NFL tape.
It wasn't
to be NFL tape. He's making NFL tape, and he knows that. And
he's making tape.
So it's not all bad. Some guys, made some great plays.
What did you think of Daryl Jackson? And then we'll start to wrap this up. We got the call. Hey, we got the call line open. Don't be afraid. If you have a comment, just call. We'll put you on, and you can say how you reacted, whether you're FSU or UVA or whoever you may be. So don't be afraid. Okay, what did you think of Daryl Jackson? And I'm sure the stats when the grades come out will be interesting.
It's hard because he's in the middle. It's hard for me to say. It's hard to grade the defensive tackle and his impact. I thought he'd be wreaking a little bit more havoc, but once again, he can stuff up the middle. But if a linebacker or James Williams doesn't collapse the edge, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really, they can double team him and basically neutralize him. But if the guys around him don't do anything, then it's basically null and void. I just don't think the defensive line is working in sync, because I think maybe a couple of guys are doing their job, but then the other guys are being deficient in what they're doing. Because I think maybe like Jaden Jones, maybe on the edge is doing his job, but if the other edge, like James Williams, isn't completing his job, then they can just run on Williams' side, right? So they can, both edges.
Which I would do if I was a team.
So I'm interested to see how Williams graded out, because I'm seeing it, and I think other people are seeing it, that Williams just isn't fulfilling his duty. But
he's not physical enough, and he tries to just be the edge rusher with one move, his speed move, and it's not getting home. It's not getting home,
and we need it to get home. And but once again, I could be wrong. I'll look at the stats. I'll look at the score, the grades. Tomorrow. And see what they look like. I'm just not seeing his impact as much as I should. But I do have some of the stats. Ashland Barker had 2 sacks tonight, 2 tackles for loss.
He looked good. He looked good.
And they brought him on the blitz packages, which is nice.
Yeah, he looked
Rawls, we said 11 tackles, 10 solo, 1 tackle.
Shaheem Brown wasn't in the game that much, and when he was, that one play, he almost got called on it, and that could have been a huge penalty. But
he had 7 solo tackles.
My fault.
No, Shaheem played the most I think he's had all season tonight. That's what I said earlier.
I'm not looking at the stats, so I don't remember it, because the TV shots are so close, you can't really tell what the hell's going on.
They said his name a lot, so I was interested that he did play a lot more.
Okay, he did play a lot. Justin
Cryer had the big pressure, but Jerry Wilson, I know, had a couple of plays. But yeah, I mean, in terms
wouldn't you expect the linebacking core to have a few more tackles than all the DBs and everything? I think that tells a little bit of a tale too.
Yeah, I don't think our linebacker, like I said, Justin Cryer, I know, had the big pressure that led to the interception from the quarterback from Chandler.
Elijah Herring, he played well, I thought.
But he got beat on didn't he get beat on
he got beat on that wheel route.
But he was right there with him. I think that was a better pass than
anything. And it was a great pass. It was a great pass, and it was a great running catch. And, that's not that unexpected, right?
I thought that was just a great play.
And a good matchup. UVA came up with a good matchup on that play.
100%. Blake Nicholson only had 2 tackles. I don't know how. Yeah. KJ Kirkland had little involvement. Like I said, James Williams only had 1 tackle tonight. James Williams had 1 tackle tonight.
Wow.
He had the same number of tackles as Tommy did. So there's that. There's your stat of the night. Tommy and
Tommy played his heart out. I mean, Tommy played his heart out.
Tommy played his ass off.
Tommy, the offense, like you said, played well enough to win this game. It was the defense who collapsed and must find out who they are. And guess what? There's no cream puff coming to Tallahassee next weekend.
Yep.
And the last thing they want to do, and the last thing Tony White wants, is to get blown up on national TV. Now, the question is, does national TV now change, or they've already announced the game as a 7:30 Saturday night game, I believe, correct?
Yeah, Florida State will.
How about game day? Do they change game day now, you think?
Maybe. But Florida State will.
They never made the announcement that game day was coming. No. So,
but Florida State will probably still be a top 20 team. It'll still be a top 20 matchup.
Yeah, because it was a close loss in overtime.
And Florida State still hasn't exploded. Like, Florida State still it's a fun team to like. This is a fun team to watch. Like, and they have the talent. It should, Florida State this should be a competitive match. Like, Florida State should be competitive with Miami. There's no excuses there. And we should expect a competitive game. We should. And so yeah.
Did you pick this game at the beginning of the season that we would lose to Virginia?
No, I didn't.
I don't know if I did. No,
I picked us to win, I believe.
I just felt so confident that, like I said, I put my first bet down ever. And if I would have won, if Florida State would have won, I would have won also. Not only my $20 would have been like 50, but I would have had $150 in bets win too as a bonus. But it didn't happen.
Yeah. So we'll have more stats next week. But
and we're not here to influence people about betting. No, I mean, I just felt so good about this game that I thought we'd win by more than 7.5, but it didn't.
I didn't feel great about this game, but I still thought we'd win. I said it'd be 7 points or so.
Right.
It was, but it was 7 points on the other side.
You know what? It is crazy. I saw one person wrote on Twitter, it's funny how the insider, guys who set the betting lines kind of know what the hell's going on. I mean, it's like unbelievable. It's just, I guess I'm mellowing here right now, and we'll hang up here in a minute. But
one thing though that should be brought up, and I don't think affects the game, but when Tony Elliott puts the wrong special teams unit in double overtime. The refs need to run the clock. There is no, you got the wrong unit out there. Yeah. We don't start the clock.
Yeah,
that is wrong.
Yeah, you don't go to the coach and say, hey, coach, you got to go for 2. That is wrong. I hope the refs didn't do that, because then Mike Norvell, he is going to make a complaint on that. They send it in to the ACC refs association, whatever the hell it is, and make a complaint that, if UVA has the wrong guys on the field, that's not the referee's responsibility. Right.
Ball is spotted. Clock runs.
Clock runs.
Yeah. That there's no reason that clock they should have been forced to call a timeout, or they get a delay of game penalty. That's the 2 options. It's not teaching him the rules of football.
That's right. The refs shouldn't say a word.
No.
They should just spot the football, wind the clock, and let it go. Right? No. And then if something goes wrong, they can penalize whatever the hell's going on. But because of the confusion on UVA's part, that could have been a big moment on a penalty or something. I'm not saying it would have changed this game. What would have changed this game is the missed field goal by Jake Weinberg.
Yep.
If we go back and look at that he was perfectly lined up. He's got a leg for 55 yards. This was, 40 yards, 44?
Yeah, he missed it bad.
And he should have kicked it. He's kicking the ball right out of the end zone on every kickoff. That could have, those 3 points were big. So,
yeah, no, that was bad. That was bad. But yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is on your mind?
No, there's things like, could we have, on offense, could we have gone deeper, exploited them more deep.
I think you can't see it on TV. I don't know if they had too deep all the time. It didn't look that way.
No, some were saying that they had the 6'4" corner on Squirrel White most of the game, and then he switched him to Deuce. But if that's the case, then we should have been exploiting that. I think we should have just been exploiting that.
Okay, we got a caller coming in. Let's take this call.
All right.
Chris from Miami, Florida.
Okay, Chris, you're on the air, man. Go ahead. You're with Seminole Sideline 365, KB and the old man. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
How you guys doing tonight?
Not that great. No, well, I think we're mellowing out now, but it wasn't so great. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna kind of bust your bubble. This is a Hurricanes fan calling.
That's okay. That's okay. We welcome all callers as long as you keep it adult-like, right?
And I'm not here to crap on you guys. I actually have a lot of respect for you guys. This Florida I do not like.
Oh yeah, we both hate them, Chris. So we're both on board with that, man. But we were glad to see you beat them.
Yeah.
So did you watch this game? Did you watch the game?
I watched it all the way through.
Okay, so obviously,
that was a catch in overtime. You guys were that was a catch in overtime.
Do you think it was a catch?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
If you look at it correctly, I think he controlled it with the 1 foot.
Yeah. The fingertips.
It's interesting. Yeah. Interesting comment. Well, unfortunately, it was ruled against us, so doesn't count. But what did you think? What do you see that the Hurricanes are going to go after or exploit next weekend?
Well, I look at it this way. I don't think you have to worry about him, Carson Beck, running. I think he's going to stay in the pocket. It's the three-headed monster of Jordan Lyles, Shamar Brown, and Mark Fletcher. Because I think they're going to exploit the run game because they run physical and they run powerful.
Okay. And do you believe our defense can get their act together to change what happened like tonight to bring a change to Miami? What do you expect our defense to do differently?
Oh, I expect a lot. Well, listen, with Carson Beck, the thing is I expect a lot of pressure from FSU's defense. You guys have the power and the strength because our offensive line is big, but your defensive line is just as big to pressure Carson Beck. Because if you pressure Carson Beck, you've seen against Florida, he will make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Carson Beck hasn't been running much this year so far, right? I don't remember. I watched I watched you play Florida. I just don't remember.
No, he doesn't run. He's a statue in the pocket. I just think what they're going to do is they're going to it's a heavy dose of Fletcher, Lyles, and Shamar Brown. And I think they're going to try to go vertical against you guys with Malachi Tony and CJ Daniels.
Okay. Do you see Florida State being able to get them get off the field defensively with any high efficiency in the game?
Absolutely. See, absolutely, because I think you guys are as talented as us. Because like I said, I think the Alabama game, I actually think Alabama was a legitimate contender. Others may disagree with me, but I truly agree that you guys have the talent. With Castellanos, because I remember against Boston College, Castellanos ran all over us in that last game. I think he had over 100 yards rushing. So I think we have the speed, but I think we have to keep Castellanos in the pocket because if we don't keep him in the pocket, he's going to scramble all over us.
Interesting. So maybe we'll have another classic matchup, Chris. This obviously was a classic game tonight. I mean, it was very interesting to watch. I don't like watching games that we lose, but it was a very entertaining game, and I just hope all our players and people got off the field because that was a massive humanity, which you've seen those before and everything. Yeah.
I just feel, I said, all I know is that I look at two plays in particular: the pass interference not the pass interference, the bobble that was not called. That was a touchdown, I think. And I think they got off the run that they should have kept running with Sawchuk a little bit more because he was grinding 4, 5, 6 yards a carry against Virginia. Yeah.
What about the use of Jalen Lucas? Do you think he should have been used more in this game? I think I wrote a note down during the game. Where the hell's he been? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know. I definitely agree. He should have been used a lot more. So, but like I said, I just don't like weeknight games. I mean, I may be in the minority here, but I don't like weeknight games. I mean, we have one against Louisville after we get the bye week from you guys, so I just don't like weeknight games. So I just think it's a curse of the ACC.
Yeah, well, you know what it is. You know, Chris, it's all about the money. If TV says we want you on midnight on Sundays, you'll play.
Two of them. We have two Friday games this year.
If you remember last year, we went to, when we had Cam, we had to go all the way to Berkeley.
Oh yeah.
So it's like
yeah.
I don't know if you guys have a Western game this year. Do you guys go to Stanford this year, or that's at home?
No, we played Stanford last year at home. We don't play them.
I don't know.
Oh, Cal?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. We played Cal last year.
And that's one of our 2 wins. We beat Cal.
I just think the weeknight games are a curse to the. Like I said, they're just a curse. They're a curse to us too.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, again, I respect Florida State, and I expect a close game next week because I guarantee you guys will be coming in with a chip on your shoulder.
Here's the problem, Chris. Here's the problem. Then I'm going to let you go. I also watched the 93 game. Were you even born in 93?
I'm actually 30. So, and the funny thing is, my wife is not talking to me, and she's a Florida State fan.
That's great. Well, we have a lot of that here in the state of Florida, but I watched that game too, and it was like, I'm experiencing it all over again. So, hey, Chris, thanks a lot for the call. You're welcome back on this program anytime, and we love having you and good fans to call in from all areas. So, hey, good luck with the Hurricanes this season, and we hope that we beat the hell out of you next week.
Hey, I look at it this way, though, guys. I hope to see you in Charlotte against us, because it would be a hell of a matchup in the ACC Championship against Charlotte.
That would be great TV viewing, wouldn't it, Chris? Hey, Chris, thanks a lot so much, and you have a great weekend and have a good game. You guys play tomorrow?
No, we have a bye week. See, basically, it's a bye week. You guys then another bye week. So we got 2 bye weeks in 3 weeks.
Oh, that's right. You get 2 weeks to get ready for us. Okay. So when you get ready for us, there shouldn't be any excuses, right?
We got Louisville on Friday after that. So but I'll definitely be at Dope. But we're bringing the whole Miami crew of orange and green. So be ready for the best.
All right, man. Hey, listen, safe travels. All right, Chris, thanks a lot. Welcome back anytime. Bye-bye.
Miami was smart with their bye weeks. I once again, I don't know who controls those, but us having a bye week after, Penn State, the bye weeks with ours were janky or stupid. We should have set it up differently. Miami's so smart, but yeah, I think you bring up a great point, and I think he brought up a great point is that it's really, once again, going to be, can Florida State adjust to stop their 3-headed running back monster against Miami? And we'll go into that next week in our preview show. But if we can find a way to do that, Florida State's going to have a chance. Absolutely, because Beck isn't going to run like Chandler Morris was doing tonight, right? And I think
I think he's going to be more of an Aaron Rodgers. He's going to sit back there. I don't think he's real mobile.
But as he said, Florida forced him into some mistakes. And that game was close going in the fourth quarter. It was 13-7 or something. So Florida State's and Florida State showed,
but
their DBs can make plays.
But what happened in that game with Florida against Miami? Florida's defense played lights out. The defense kept Florida in that game. It wasn't their offense.
But we saw what our defense did against Alabama too.
I know, but we also saw what we saw tonight.
But Florida's offense sucks. And our offense isn't Florida's offense.
Okay.
So let's not compare those two.
I'm just saying we've got to get off the field so we can give the ball to our offense.
I agree, and that was one of the issues tonight too. Is that in the third or fourth quarter we couldn't get them off the field, and our offense couldn't get out. We only have one drive in the fourth quarter, 1 or 2 drives in the third and fourth.
Well, I think the
time of possession was crazy in the second.
It was horrible. When we get into those numbers, you'll look at them. We'll talk about them next week. But I think it'll be a competitive game, but it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be any easier than these guys, right?
No, but this was a good test. It was a good test because UVA's got a really good team. I mean, they got a very high explosive offense, and they did what they do, and we got to get better. We got to get better next.
We got to get better. I think that's the buzzword we're going to hear from the coaches. We got to get better, and we got to clean some stuff up. They're going to have a couple hours on the airplane they're leaving tonight, going home, and the coaches can watch a lot of film.
Because the thing is, when you give up 72% passing completion for UVA, you're not going to win. Like 72% passing
Wow.
completion.
That's better than he's had. Yeah, I mean, career-wise,
But his yards per attempt was only 6.4. Like,
and he had a bad thumb.
It
And he had a bad thumb.
It was all these short passes too. You were just letting them.
I don't get
dink and dunk you over the.
And I know we're gonna get off the air here soon, but I don't get why we don't have a better short passing game. I just don't see
we
it.
had 500 yards. We don't need a short passing game. Like that's not part of this offense. That's just not what Gus Malzahn. You're gonna get frustrated if you're expecting something that's not gonna happen. But when you score when you have 516 yards of offense and 38 points, you should win the goddamn game.
Well, I was going to say that when you rush the ball for over 200 yards, you said 200 yards, you should win the damn game.
258 yards rushing.
How do you lose a game like? Yeah, how do you lose a game like? Well, you had turnovers. You had turnovers and a missed field goal. That missed field goal, as you look at it, is going to get bigger and bigger as you look at your notes.
But once again, you had other chances to win. But it is big. But you had other plays, like you said. So, all right, I'm gonna start moving on from this. Obviously,
and we'll leave this comment from Alan Saunders on there as we sign off here. Florida State scored enough points to beat anyone. The defense was a no-show, and I think that's I think that's going to be
absolutely, and they're going to need that offense next week. They're going to need that offense next week. And the only thing I would say about the offense is that they need to get more efficient on third down.
Get people off. Yep.
Make it 40% on third down against Miami. You're going to probably need it and be in the 50%, or a little bit better, I would say. But other than that, let's get better. Let's get better. Hopefully this defense readjusts and can get better against the run game like they did against Alabama, because you're going to need to for Miami. So, that's going to do it. Thank you all for joining us. We're moving on. I'm moving on. I'm not going to let this carry into Saturday. It is what it is. And we get better from here, hopefully. And
which game are you going to watch tomorrow? What one game?
I already spent 4 hours on this game. Sorry, we're going into now 5 hours with this game. So I
got a softball game in the morning. So. But the big game, I think there's a couple of interesting games on tomorrow, but the one I want to watch is Alabama and Georgia. I want to see how far Alabama has come against Georgia. It's at Georgia. Should be a very interesting game, but there's a few other games on that should be fun. Clemson
LSU
plays.
Who? I don't care about Clemson.
Who they play. No, yeah. So,
LSU,
that's another day.
Ole Miss is also a decent.
Hey, I want to thank everybody who came in here late tonight, and and also for our callers who came in. A lot of people get shy about calling in. We had some great callers from different interests, and you're always welcome here. When we put up the call line, just give us a call, and we appreciate it. We appreciate everybody coming here. Disappointing night for the Noles. I got a long flight home to reflect on it, but you got to get back to work on Sunday, on Saturday and Sunday. They'll probably take Saturday off, get back to work on Sunday, and off we go, waiting for the Miami Hurricanes to come to Doak next Saturday.
I have faith these players can get better. They have good coaches, and
all will be forgotten if you beat your state rivals. All will have been forgotten if you beat your state rivals.
Exactly. So, guys, let's get better Let's get better by Saturday. And
as Jalen says, we're gonna bounce back. That's our guy right there, Jalen. All right, man. All right, we're out of here, guys.
Thank you all for like the video, subscribe if you haven't. We appreciate it. Please. Join us on Wednesday for the Miami preview show. Bring your thoughts for that. Bring your comments for that. But we appreciate you being here tonight. And have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. Stay positive, and we will see you soon. Go Noles. Go Noles. And have a great weekend.
Seminole side